This is the Spring Mountain shelter, pretty tiny. The bear cables are up here. You can kind of see the line. I was over here, which is a little too close to the shelter. And there's more camping spots kind of up the trail, but I didn't want to walk that far. And water is down this path. Alrighty, so the next shelter is 8.6 away. I would like to get a little bit further than that if possible, but the first half of today is mostly downhill with a little bit of uphill. And then the second half is uphill. So probably gonna have to get to the shelter and then see how I feel. Because I don't know if I said this yesterday, but with what I think is like 5 or 6 days of food and 1.5 liters of water, my pack weighs 36 pounds, which is 2 pounds more than it did at Amicalola. So I'm not super thrilled about that, but I bought a 30-degree top coat, which weighs half of what my current one weighs. I was worried about being cold because it does get kind of chilly at night sometimes, but I can also just kick it off and whatever. I was thinking about my underquilt because it's kind of heavy. It's almost 20 ounces and it's also at 10 degree. But that of course is more money that I don't really want to spend, but I also don't want a 36-pound pack. So I have to decide what is more important to me, I guess. This is Route 208 at Allen Gap. I don't know exactly where, but some people from the hostel got a ride up here and then they slack packed back to Laughing Heart. So they're a day ahead of me now. And I guess we're going into Cherokee National Forest, or maybe we've been in it. But we gotta cross this road. There was a lot of traffic when I was coming down, so I hear something coming now. This is mile 289.6. Little Laurel Shelter is 4.9. That's the one I'm currently headed towards. And then Jerry Cabin Shelter is 11.6. That's the next one. Devil's Fork Gap must be the third one after that. It's 20.2 though. This says Hemlock Hollow, but it's apparently been closed for the last 2 years. This is Log Cabin Lane or something like that. Shelter is 3.2 up, and then the top of the mountain is 5 miles up. So I think it's 1 o'clock, maybe 2 o'clock. Hopefully I can get to the top of the mountain, because I'd like to get 10 or 11 miles in a day now. Still kind of adjusting to the pack. Overall it's been better. I really like having the load lifters. Can't see him anymore because he slithered away really fast, but there was a rat snake sitting right here. We made eye contact and then he ran away before I could get the camera out. It was a good size one, probably 3 feet at least. Oh no. So it is 1:30. The shelter is 2 miles away. It's definitely the hardest part of the day because this has just been so slow going. My plan right now is to get to the shelter, chill there for a little bit, and then try to keep going because the sun doesn't set until like 8:30 now, so I don't have to be at camp at 5 anymore. I just like to be at camp that early, but I'd also like to get at least 10 miles a day if possible. So I would have to keep climbing up this mountain. But then that means tomorrow that the elevation isn't quite so drastic. So, decisions. So this is what we did today. This is where we started. And then we're now somewhere over here. The shelter is up here, and I want to get somewhere up there, which will be about 10 miles. Yeah, I don't remember if I talked about this, but I got this bound and it just like cuts into the edge here. So I have no idea what this stuff says. So it's a good thing I have far out. But I like having the paper one because it talks about the towns and I like being able to write in it. And if for whatever reason my phone died, I would still have some kind of navigation. I don't know if I've told the story before, but I'm gonna tell it again because the shelter is a mile away uphill and I'm hot. I need a break. So, anyway, when we moved into the house that we're in now, which is out in the country, one of our neighbors told us that there were copperheads all over everywhere during the summer. So I was super paranoid for the first year that Fiona was going to get bit and then the girls were going to get bit, but I haven't seen a single one. So I'm sure they're out there, but I have not personally seen one. So one day I let the girls out into the backyard and I heard them barking at something, which isn't unusual. They love to bark. But then I saw them lunging back and forth at something. And I was like, no, 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 no. So I ran out and thankfully it was a rat snake, I think, that was very angry, but luckily they hadn't got a hold of it, and not that it would have hurt them if it bit them, because it's not venomous, but then I made my sister come down and shoo it out of the yard. So that's probably the scariest snake encounter I've ever had, because I knew they were going after some kind of snake, but I didn't know what kind of snake it was, because I couldn't see from where I was in the house. Tell us your secrets. It's been a lot of blowdowns. This one's probably the worst one. It is almost 2 miles to the top. I've left the shelter. I've gone 0.3 and it's steep. Kind of regretting leaving, but I want to get closer. This is 0.8 from the top. It's a little less steep, but still going up, obviously. It's got to be close to 5 now. But once I get on top of this, I think it's like a half mile until the spot that I want to camp, unless I find something better sooner. It needs an edit feature or something, because there's what looks like a good water source here, and it's not marked. Made it to the top. The place I want to camp is 0.8 away, and I just checked the weather, and there's supposed to be thunderstorms tonight and tomorrow. So I'm hoping the area is full of trees, because the other time I've had thunderstorms, it hasn't been an issue. It's just been super windy, and I didn't like that. It's getting a little rocky. Hopefully this isn't a long 0.8 miles. This section is a little nicer. About half a mile away from the spot. Hopefully it's either empty or it's a fairly large spot, because I don't think I can go any further than that. It is 6 o'clock. This is the camping area I was heading to. There's nobody here, so I have my pick of wherever. Looks like there's enough trees here that are the same height that if I get struck by lightning, it's probably not going to be my problem anymore. Not to be morbid, but today's mileage was 11.13. There was a lot of up. I'm feeling it in my feet and my knees. The water source over here looked kind of swampy, so guess I won't be soaking my feet in there. Tomorrow, well, depending on what the thunderstorm does, because half the time it says it's going to rain, it doesn't. Half the time it does, so it's like I can't plan for tomorrow until it is tomorrow. So tomorrow should be hitting mile 300, and then the terrain after that looks not super bad, but I've heard it's going to get rocky. What is biting my head? These bugs are awful. I'm covered in bug spray and they do not care.